found these heavy-duty scrubbers. I was really pleased with the texture. It's got a nice viney sense. It's more exaggerated than your typical green scrubber. The idea for this comes from the fairy tale Sleeping Beauty. Specifically the idea of the hedge of thorns that prevents the prince from reaching the sleeping castle. Looking at some reference pictures for thorns and vines, both from fantasy illustrations and from my local nature. Where I live in the Pacific Northwest, we have blackberries growing everywhere. And those things are gnarly. Yeah, don't do this if you don't enjoy having your hands be burned. You thought there was going to be some sort of transition with that color. Nope, I got distracted and started working on the larger tree-like vines. And pretty quickly found out that the foam clay does not like to hold on to these wires. I've done this before to make trees, but when you're doing like 7 of them, you see why people usually say to use garden wire. The texture on the outside of it really helps. To recreate that for myself, I'm using hot glue, which worked really well. I'm using the Real Terrain Hobbies tutorial to make these vines. Really pleased with how well it turns out. This jute twine in particular has a really nice curly texture. Instantly vines pretty well. I found it was important to put the vines both on the front and the back of the hedge, both for, playability, having it look the same on both sides, but also so that you had a layered sense of these things growing. After losing patience with the very nice looking but fastidious Real Terrain Hobby style, I started just doing it the hack and slash craft style, which is just tear it apart randomly. If there are knots, just tear those apart too. Spray it on top of the thing you're working on. Flock it on top of the thing you're working on, and if extra flock sticks to the craft, then so be it. And just slap that sucker on. I'm including this just because sometimes I can get intimidated by how precise other crafters can be. And no doubt that works really well for them, but it's nice to know that you can just throw it on there and it ends up looking cool too. Using the tips of toothpicks for the oversized thorns. But reverse zenithal, using green from the bottom and a yellow tan from the top just to give it some visual interest. I tried to reinforce that with using green leaves on the bottom of the vines and yellow leaves on the top of the vines. I really regret this dry brush. It ended up really washing out all the colors that I worked to get. And then, in an attempt to correct, I spray the whole thing with black wash. And you can see right now how pretty that is. So then I go back through, working the colors back in, trying to cover up the worst of the gray mess I created. Hey, those scrubbies did come in handy. Got the splinters off of my base. Just layering my flock to give it less of a manicured look, help to increase the feeling of wildness. Using a few bits and bobs from my foliage collection. Here we are. Hope you enjoyed.